The Honourable Member. Mr. Speaker, when Admiral Norman stood up for the Navy against Scott Bryson's political interference, what he was doing was making priorities. He was giving priority to friends of the Liberal Party. We know that Norman made the right decision in the interest of our nation. When will the Prime Minister apologize?
Mr. Speaker, as the Public Prosecution Service of Canada confirmed, every decision was made completely independently. Based on this decision, the Deputy Minister has revised the policy in place regarding Vice-Admiral Norman's original request to have the legal fees paid for as this relates. I've agreed with this advice, Mr. Speaker, and have authorized it. Thank you.
Honourable Member for Renfrew, Nipissing, Pembroke.
Mr. Speaker, the Prime Minister himself said that Mark Norman would end up in court even before charges were laid. Clearly, this was a political attack on someone who is standing up for what is right. It is another example of the Prime Minister attacking someone who got in his way. When will the Prime Minister apologize and have Vice Admiral Norman reinstated as Vice Chief of Defence Staff?
Minister of National Defence.
Mr. Speaker, I want to reiterate again from the Public Prosecution Service of Canada that every decision made was made independently, Mr. Speaker. I want to quote from the statement that was released. No other factors were considered in this decision, nor was there any contact or influence from outside the PPSC, including political influence in either initial decision to prosecute Mr. Norman or in the decision to stay the charge, Mr. Speaker. And General Vance, Chief of Defence Staff, will be meeting with Admiral Norman, and then we'll be talking about the next steps. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honourable Member for Medicine Hat, Cardston Warner.
But that's not what Canadians see in the aftermath of the Vice Admiral Norman travesty, Mr. Speaker. What they see is a pattern of corruption with the Prime Minister, the PMO, and this Liberal government who attack and try to discredit anyone who stands up for truth, who stands up for what is right, and who gets in their way. What is this government really so desperately trying to hide? Will the Prime Minister apologize to Vice Admiral Norman and reinstate him as the head of the Navy and second in command of our armed forces?
Hear, hear. Hear. Minister of National Defence.
Mr. Speaker, as I stated, no other factors were considered in this case, and no influence was created, Mr. Speaker. General Vance will be speaking with Admiral Norman at the appropriate time. Discussion will be had, Mr. Speaker, as to the future. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The Honourable Member for Saskatoon West.